Hey, good morning, everyone. It's November 25th, and it's time for another edition of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. All right, so today is an awesome day. Okay, those of you that have been watching coin market cap, you'll notice that huge greens basically all across the board. So this is the type of day that we all hope for pretty much every day, but of course that doesn't happen. But nevertheless, it's awesome. Anyone that's investing in cryptocurrencies is making a lot of money today. This would be a good time to take some profits. Okay, some of these coins have been going up quite a lot over this past week, right? And one of the things I always tell everyone is if you're investing in cryptocurrency, it's you kind of want to follow the same fundamentals as investing in stocks, right? Which is you want to try to take emotions out. You want to sell while it's going up. You don't want to sell while it's going down, okay? That would be considered panic selling. So you want to sell while it's going up in stages so that you're still reaping the benefit if it continues to go, but you're also protecting yourself in case it's a huge pump and it goes down, and you're locking in all those profits, right? And if you're buying, you want to buy while it's low or it's on its way down, okay? Only promising coins. You don't want to buy shit coins that keeps going down, okay? That's not what you want to do. So, this will be a good day to evaluate some of these and take profits because some of these have gone up quite massively, and you'll see when I go down this list. Starting with Bitcoin, of course. Like I said, Bitcoin was holding for a while. Now we broke past that shell, 5%, around 8,600, come down a little bit. There's something interesting going on, and I think my theory from yesterday is panning out. Okay, so 8,600, another $400. I anticipate this will go quickly this week. We will hit 9,000 fairly quick, and then after that, it's 10,000. Here we come, and we're not even in December yet. Okay. So that's about it for Bitcoin, but I hate to skip over Ethereum, but it makes more logical sense to go this way. But Bitcoin Cash, as you guys notice, slightly down 5%, but it's hovering at 1,600. Okay, this is a big level to hold at while Bitcoin has gone up 5%. Right? Remember, I said this inverse relationship between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, right? You always see one go up and one go down. You never see both go up, right? But we're getting there, okay? We're getting to a point where Bitcoin Cash is not falling like a rock, where it's not like -15, -20% while Bitcoin goes up. And that's interesting, and I think that's because my theory from yesterday, all these big supporters of Bitcoin Cash, they also have large sums of Bitcoin. And I think what they're doing is slowly converting to Bitcoin Cash, right? So as they accumulate more and more Bitcoin Cash, they can control the market cap a lot better. They could control the fluctuations a lot better because a lot more is in their hands. Think about it. I named Roger Ver yesterday, okay? He's worth between $1 to $2 billion, okay? With that kind of money, $2 billion, that's almost 10% of all Bitcoin Cash. If he converted everything to Bitcoin Cash, which I know he hasn't, okay? But if he did, let's say one person would control 10% of Bitcoin Cash. Think about that. And that's just one person. He gets all his friends, all the big backers, and everyone else. That could be as high as 30 or 40% of all the Bitcoin Cash coins held within their hands, right? So I think what's going on is they're slowly converting, right? So they're making Bitcoin Cash a lot less volatile, and they could hold at certain levels. And then when miners jump on, because of the difficulty between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, depending on what the difficulty is, miners can switch back and forth, and it has happened now a few times. And when that happens, then it drives Bitcoin Cash up. And when that happens, more people get in, more people start holding, and they take that opportunity to actually convert more. So it's like a slow process, but when I say slow, it's really not that slow. We're talking about days and weeks. Okay, we're not talking months and years now. So it's quite interesting. I want to see what happens. later this week and next week to see if we start seeing both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash go up simultaneously, and that would be awesome. That would mean while people are the Bitcoin Cash supporters that are supporting it and pumping it up, that means new money is still flowing into Bitcoin, enough so that it covers the conversion, and then that both goes up. So then this overall market cap, you know how it's been going up a lot, and it has. Look, it's at 272 billion. Okay, we'll go get to 300 billion soon. That means a lot more money, a lot more people are getting into cryptocurrency. And that's awesome. And December should be no exception. A lot more money should flow in. And that's where I think that'll be good. It'll be good for Bitcoin community and Bitcoin Cash community. Okay, I'm not advocating one or the other. I just said I hate the fact that Bitcoin Cash, it seemed like the pump always converted from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash, causing Bitcoin to stall or drop in price. But if both could go up at the same time, that's awesome. That's a win-win for everyone, and that's what everyone wants to see. All right, so that's that. Ethereum says 5%. Like I said yesterday, it's not going to go up 10-15% every day, but it's getting up to 500 real quick. 473. Only $27 away from 500. So it seems like it's still on the way up. So it's very good. Ripple went up a little bit. Look at Dash. Dash went up 12% above 630. I mentioned the Palm Beach pump. That brought it up, but now Dash naturally itself is just going up. People just love Dash, okay? And Dash, even as high as now, $630, still under 5 billion market cap. Still low. I mean, it's still almost half of Ripple, right? So Dash could technically get up to $1,200, and then it would be right around 10 billion where Ripple is. And so it has room to grow, and just because Ripple's at 10 billion doesn't mean Dash can't be above 10 billion. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that from just a standpoint, like a fourth and fifth place standpoint, is if you notice fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, they're pretty close, right? So Dash and Litecoin pretty close. 7, 8, 9, 10, all in the 2 billions. Generally the list is like slow incrementals, right? But there's quite a big jump right here. And of course, from Ripple to Bitcoin Cash is big, and Bitcoin Cash to Ethereum is big. So I do anticipate that that Dash will close this gap and it will still trend higher. But this is one of the coins I wanted to mention, okay? Take profits. We've gone from the 200s, okay, to 400s within a matter of a few weeks, and 400s now to 600s within a matter of weeks, okay? Those holding on to Dash right now, I know it sounds contradictory that I just said Dash could go up to 1,200. Why should you take profits? Because you don't want to be a greedy pig. That's basically what it is, okay? In Wall Street, they say bears make money, bulls make money, but hogs get slaughtered. And you don't want to be a hog, okay? Dash will not continue up forever. There will be corrections, and that could come at 700, 800. It could come tomorrow at 630, okay? I'm just saying, you don't have to sell it all. Sell, whatever you sell is up to you, okay? But take some profits, keep it so that in case it falls, take the opportunity to then buy more, okay? So Dash is one of those coins I suggest you do that with because it has gone up so much within the last few weeks, okay? So that's my take on Dash. Litecoin, good. It's gone up 11%, hovering at $84. I anticipate Litecoin will continue to go up. I still like to hear from someone what the long-term prospect of Litecoin is. I kind of know it, but I like to hear. I would love to get Charlie Lee to go on an interview or a live Q&A session because Charlie Lee is the head guy of Litecoin. He was the founder. He went to Coinbase for a little bit and came back. So now he's leading the team to Charge. And I see him do a lot of interviews, and he seems like a nice guy. On Twitter, he's also very active. I would love to get an interview with him, and I think over the next couple of weeks, I might try to reach out to him and see if he's willing to do one. Because I'd like to hear from him in terms of what he feels like what Litecoin's future is. I'm thinking that, you know, he wants to place Litecoin to be like that day-to-day transaction currency, right? And I mentioned this a couple times. There's a lot of competition because Bitcoin Cash is now one of them. Litecoin, you could argue Dash could be one of them. There's a lot. Vertcoin, Decred. There's a lot of these currency-based ones, right? And then there's privacy like Dash, Monero, Zcash. Arguably, they could be day-to-day transaction coins too. So I want to hear from Charlie to see what his thoughts are, because Litecoin has pretty much implemented everything there is, at least near term. You know, they have SegWit, they have Lightning Network. They just did an atomic swap with Bitcoin, so that's coming up. And after all this and decentralized exchanges come out, yeah, people can swap Bitcoin and Litecoin, but are they? And if they do that, what's the purpose? I've been kind of neutral for Litecoin for a long time because I just didn't get where the future was going. And I've been saying that, unfortunately, since the 40s, and now it's doubled to the 80s. But still, I'm not bearish. I'm not, you know, against Litecoin. I just wanted to hear from someone to actually explain, and hopefully that's Charlie, since he's leading it, that he can explain to me and everyone else that'll be watching what he envisions Litecoin to be and where it will go in the next, say, 3 to 5 years. All right, so moving on, Monero up a little bit. Neo, good for Neo, up 12%, $40. You know, one of the comments from yesterday was, I did mention in the video, I said I anticipate Neo going back to the 20s, and a reviewer said, or a commenter said, you know, why would you say that when you recommended Neo as one of the best cryptocurrencies in December? So let me explain. It's because I anticipated more news coming out from the Neo camp, but I still expect December to be huge for Neo because I think that there's going to be some news coming out of China, maybe speculation or maybe official news that they're thinking about allowing ICOs again or allowing Bitcoin. Either one would drive Neo up tremendously, right? And it doesn't even have to be official, but if it's just some kind of news that comes out that's saying, well, some regulatory bodies thinking about it, or some officials thinking about it, or some exchange is leaking out that it might happen or whatever, it'll drive Neo up like crazy. And then also maybe more news about what they're going to do with their exchange, other things, maybe ICOs that's coming out that's going to be on a Neo platform. I anticipate there'll be a lot more news coming in December for Neo, so that's why I think they're one of the best coins in December. But in the meantime, without having all that coming out, I don't know if Neo can sustain itself in the 30s. Today might, you know, show that they can, and maybe this is they've been held down a lot, kind of like Ethereum, right? So Ethereum made a big jump. Neo might make the big jump and stay and go up to the 40s and stay there, but it may not. It might come back down again. Right now it's hard to say because now it's a bull market. Everything is trending up. Everything is going up like huge, right? So it's easy to say, oh no, you know, it's not gonna go down. It's gonna keep going. You know, that might not be the case. Tomorrow, if we review this and it's all red, right? That might go. Neo might go down 10 or 15% tomorrow and come straight back down. So that's my stance on Neo. I do like them. I just feel like there needs to be some more coming out that'll then raise them up back up, right? Because as promising and as good as Neo is, let's just be totally honest here. They've only had 2 companies hold ICOs and announce that they're on Neo. Okay, and that's Red Pulse and then Addix. Okay, which is below. Right, so out of all this excitement about Neo doing great things, being Ethereum in China and this and that, right? But at the end of the day, how many coins are utilizing Ethereum? Hundreds to thousands. How many coins are utilizing Neo? 2. Okay, so that's the big difference. So that is something that I want people to understand. And it's the same thing with IOTA or NEM, Quantum. EOS, all right. A lot of these platforms, they're worth billions, right? And they're worth billions, but who's using them? Unfortunately, no one. Okay, and same thing Cardano, right? I actually like Cardano. I like them a lot, but they don't have a working product. Okay, they do have some good backers. I mean, one of the original CEO of Ethereum is started Cardano, right? But the company's worth $770 million, okay, for a product that won't come out for at least 6 to 12 months, right? And even if it comes out, let's say like Neo, which has been out for a while and has a lot of press and attention, how convincing companies to create their coins on top of the platform is also just as difficult. So, like I mentioned, Neo only has 2 so far. There's another one, there's another ICO, I forget the name, that's coming out. So that'll be 3 after it comes out, right? So you compare that to hundreds on Ethereum. If you do the ratio, if you did like a ratio in terms of company riding on the platform versus market cap, then Ethereum at 45 billion should make all these like a lot smaller, right? So you're talking about hundreds compared to 2. So that means if Ethereum is at 45 billion, Neo, along with everyone else, should be at like 100 million, okay? But that's not the name of the game in cryptocurrency, as you know. Everyone is buying into them for future potential, and I get that. That's what makes it go up. That's why everyone's, not everyone, but a lot of people trade, and that's how you make money. I get that, but I want people to realize that most of the coins are overpriced, okay, based on what they have on hand and based on adoption and all that stuff, okay? So went off on a rant again, but that's my take on it. So IOTA went up. I said, they corrected themselves in the last few days. Ethereum Classic, I'm surprised. It's shooting up. I mentioned them a couple times. They had a conference too where it was, unfortunately, there was a sell-off after the conference. But then since then, they've been going up and up. Now they're in their 20s. Ethereum Classic, again, it's basically a clone of Ethereum, right? So the only difference between the two is Ethereum Classic didn't have all those funds locked that was stolen and stolen from the DAO, basically. So they're essentially the same platform. Everyone is building on top of Ethereum. No one, as far as I know, has built on top of Ethereum right now. Ethereum Classic, okay? There's a lot of promises. There's talks about, doing a lot of stuff, okay? But at the end of the day, how many people are using Ethereum Classic? I know it's been traded, right? You can trade it. A lot of people trade it for money and stuff. But what is the value backed on? What have they done or shown to say that they're worth $2.2 billion? If someone can explain that to me, I would love to hear that, because I don't know why they're worth this much, to be honest. Okay, because they're not doing anything with their product right now. So for example, NEM, right? NEM is also like a platform type coin. They've been around for a long time. They're very popular in Japan and in parts of Asia because they kind of in the same area of Ripple. They do a lot with banking and banking transactions. There's a lot of big banks that they contracted with that utilize NEM to send money to each other and stuff like that. So there's a use case for NEM. Okay, but it doesn't get a lot of attention because NEM is primarily in Asia. So a lot of the Western countries and Europe and North America, they don't really hear about it. But they're being used, which is why they're valued at $2 billion. And Ripple is also being used, which is why they're valued at $10 billion. Okay, so it's not like they're just sitting there without anything. They are being used. There's a lot of people using it, a lot of business using it, right? But they're at $2 billion, and they're under Ethereum Classic, which currently has 0 use. So that doesn't sit well with me. But again, that's the name of the game. That it is what it is. So EOS, right? Year-long ICO, right? And they're worth $1 billion right now. They're close to $1 billion. I want people to know this about EOS. So a lot of people say really good things about it, and the technology sounds awesome, and they're currently building it, right? What scares me is EOS right now is the tokens is Ethereum based, ERC20 based, right? So once the platform comes out, you can't actually just take your token and use it. You have to convert it somehow. So hopefully there's a good conversion process. And second of all, look, since it's a year-long ICO, it's only distributed about 500 billion or 500 million, I should say, right? There's still 500 more million left to be distributed. So we're only around half, and there's half more to go. So, if you're releasing 500 million more EOS tokens, is the price really go up that much? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But right now, it seems like that scares me, right? That there's still double the amount of tokens waiting to be released, yet people are still buying into it and still driving the price up. So that's it. Okay. Moving forward, Juan, Zcash, another big day. We were just hovering 250, 260 for a while. Now it's 350. Good for Zcash. Lisk climbed back up a little bit in the eights, low eights. Amis Go. A lot of people have been asking about this. Amis Go has settled in the 7s and 6s for a long time. Finally, it's coming back up. They have a very good solid foundation and backing, because Amis itself is kind of like a PayPal that's being used in Asia, and they already generate hundreds of millions of dollars from that. And Amis Go is just the extension of that. So there's no reason why Amis Go shouldn't be moving forward. The only thing really holding it back is the market cap. It's at $882 million. So does this brand new app deserve almost $1 billion valuation? Probably not. But if you look at, does Ethereum Classic deserve a $2.2 billion for nothing? Of course not. So that would make it so Amis Go is incredibly cheap. I do want to see more news on them and see where it's going. They do have a lot more competitors now these days, so they gotta be careful. But still, this might be a good time to drive the price up. Cardano, I think they're promising. They use a different. They have good backers. They have a different hashing algorithm. And it's generating a lot of buzz because they're considered like scientific. I don't know if I really buy that, but Cardano is good. It's just that it's gonna take a while before their product comes out, and they're promising a lot of things. Cardano is like considered a next gen platform coin, right? So I mentioned what's that other one? Ardor is a next gen, created by the next team. Cardano is considered a next gen platform coin too. All right, moving on. I've been meaning to talk about Populous. They've been going up a lot. They've been generating a lot of hype. I need to understand why. Overall, I don't want to go too much. Monocoin, I mentioned before, a big rise. Radon Network still going. Steam, those of you that don't know, Steam is kind of like a Reddit, but you can tip people with it. It's actually getting pretty big. If you go on Steam that's their website, Steam you'll see a lot of like daily news and a lot of stuff. They do have a lot more articles about cryptocurrency. A lot of bloggers put their blogs on Steam. So they're quite interesting. Vertcoin I mentioned a couple times. Shut up. They're still hovering the 4s, which is good for them. It's funny because Vertcoin has been out almost as long as Litecoin. They've been around for a long time, probably 5-6 years, and only recently have they climbed up. But again, they climbed up, But what do they have to show for it? How many people are actually using Vertcoin? What companies are using Vertcoin? Can you use Vertcoin to buy anything? Those are the questions I want to hear, and I feel like, unfortunately, I know the answer, which is no one, right? It is simply going up based on news and based on people liking the product and based on people trading it, which drives the price up. But in the real world, okay, how many people are actually using it? It's probably close to none. I really like Basic Attention Coin. Its growth unfortunately halted. I don't know why. I think the founder's bride. I think Brendan Eich, who is the founder of JavaScript and the founder of Firefox. I mean, the guy is brilliant, and he has a brilliant track record. Unfortunately, not in the cryptocurrency world, but he's brilliant. He knows what he's doing, and he already has a working product, the Brave browser, and he just came out the publishing part of his like 3-step ecosystem, and now advertises next. But man, the Basic Attention Coin should be like 500 million at least. Because it has working product, it has a great backer, but unfortunately it hasn't moved much. But I would say people should keep their eye on this one. Next, jumped up almost 14 cents. I anticipate Next will continue to grow. I mentioned this a couple times, and I mentioned this exclusively to my insider members, that there's something going on with Next. It should drive the price up all the way until December 25th. Okay, and it has to do with Ardor, and it has to do with Ardor's child chain, which is called Ignis. So those that want to get into it, subscribe to Insider. I give a really interesting play on how to play that. And then moving on. Blocknet, finally, I really love Blocknet. Finally jumped up a little bit. And that's pretty much it for today. Yeah, that's it for today. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.